Hey, it's the Rooster of Lead, SouthwestSportsNet.com. The Joliet West Tigers travel to Lincoln Way Central Friday night, searching for their third win of the season and trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Tigers fell behind 7-0 when Knights tailback Kyle Watek took the first play of the game to rip off a 58-yard touchdown run, but all was not lost at that point. West tailback Jordan Brown turned on the Jets and broke down the sideline for a 66-yard touchdown, followed by a successful two-point conversion and an 8-7 lead, which they took into the half. The Knights used their defense to set the tone in the second half, however, picking off West quarterback Ashton McCullough 3 times in the half, stymieing the Tiger attack and kept momentum on their side as the Knights scored 18 unanswered en route to a 25-8 victory, improving to 3-3 on the year. For the Tigers, the loss is their fourth and must now win out if they have any shot at a postseason berth. West will travel to Lockport this week, while the Knights will travel to number 1 Lincoln Way East on the road.
We just come out here and we play our hearts out, We want to win. It's our homecoming week, and we're not going to stop. We're going to play Central football.
Straight ahead, hard nose.
That's right. That's how it's been. That's how it's always going to be.
And after that, you pretty much contained it.
There was just a little bit of miscommunication as well,
We're not going to stop.
Everybody was in the right place,
We're going to keep going.
Maybe a missed call, one missed call can break a play,
in the game. And,
we won most of the plays, and that was one play that we lost. And, we came back, and we were able to read those a lot better. And me and Goss, we had some good communication. We were able to find those holes and find the weaknesses in their O-line.
You guys appeared that, early they were getting outside, and suddenly you put the clamps on that.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You guys were able to work sideline to sideline a little better.
It was.
No problem.
It was just a matter of figuring out what they were running. Figured out pretty fast that they didn't run much up the middle. They're a very athletic team, so they're going to use their speed to get to the outside. And as linebacker, you're able to adapt to that. All right, see you, Kyle. And it was just kind of figuring it out. And as the game rolled on, they're able to kind of predict what they're going to run.
Your DBs came up with some big plays.
Oh, they played a heck of a game today. I don't even know how many interceptions, but they played awesome. And it's just, as a whole, our entire defense played great. We had some good pressure on the quarterback. Linebackers did their duties, and the DBs were stopping the passes that they needed to stop, and more. So
really, from the HF, Sandburg, last week at Lockport, and here tonight, defensively, they're just, gosh darn, playing their tails off. And that's why we do a lot of things we do offensively. We're trying not to be stupid,
Congratulations.
Thanks. Your defense is playing well. Don't turn the ball over and, play field position and let them hold it. And what happens? You hold them, you make them punt.
Fred, who do you stood out for you on defense?
I tell you what, man, they're all playing. Our front four are good. Our linebackers are playing well, and I don't know how many picks we had tonight. Our DBs are playing well. They're all playing well. And when you have a defense playing that well, for us, we don't want to screw anything up on the offensive end of it.
What are your thoughts about Kyle tonight?
Oh, he ran hard. He ran well. Our line plays well. The problems we get into is we'll have one bust, one guy, and then and now all of a sudden you end up behind the chains, But the second half, I was obviously with the second play of the game we were pleased, but the second half of the game, I thought our guys played better up front. I thought the second half they played better up front and that got going. And Kyle ran hard and takes care of the ball. And, the stat guy told me we ran for 2-something. I didn't have it. He told me like 210, 213, something like that.
214.
Yeah.
So we ran them 14 or 12 straight plays in that field goal drive.
Well, again, at that point, the thinking was to get it, keep it in field goal range, make it a 2-score game with the way our defense was playing.
So the shoulder was just an aggravated injury or something?
He's had a little. Yeah. He had a little ding in there, but I think they think he's going to be all right. So, he's a tough kid and he gets a lot of work.
Go ahead.
Talk about that punt. It seemed like up until that point, like you said, it had been a little stagnant.
Well, teams that do that, it puts you in a bind. That leave their offense out there, and it puts you in a bind. The thing we taught that I think that they talked to the defensive lineman about were he was still at shotgun depth. So don't just give a play away. Go ahead and rush and Grom made a heck of a play.
He's the one that blocked it?
Yeah, Grom Nicky. Yeah, made a heck of a play, and I think that obviously jump started you.
Sure.
You get field position and go from there.
3 wins, 3 to go.
3 wins, 3 to go. We preach to the kids. And they bought in. Worry about this week. So we'll enjoy this one tonight and give it 24 hours and then get ready for East. It sounded like they had their way tonight.
Yeah, they sure did.
But this is a fun time of year. We'll see where we're at, and because I think we're playing better. I think our defense is playing well. So we'll see what happens.
Great.
It's been a production of SouthwestSportsNest.com, home of the playmakers and game changers. Remember, do your best. Get on the nest.